One choice, one spark, one chain reaction. Nothing happens by chance. Every result is born from a cause. And the moment you understand this, you stop waiting for life to happen and you start creating it. This is the Hermetic principle of cause and effect. The question is it worth mastering? The Hermetic principle of cause and effect is the sixth of the 7 Hermetic principles recorded in the book The Kabbalion, written in 1908 by the 3 initiates. Its statement is simple. Every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. Everything happens according to law. Chance is but a name for law not recognized. There are many planes of causation, but nothing escapes the law. First, every cause has its effect. This means nothing happens without a trigger. Every event in your life, every outcome you see in the world is the product of something that came before it. Second, every effect has its cause. If you trace any result backward far enough, you will find its origin point, the starting conditions that made it possible. Third, everything happens according to law. Hermetic philosophy teaches that the universe is not chaotic. It is lawful, ordered, and structured. The so-called laws of nature are not accidents. They are patterns that operate with perfect consistency. Chance is but a name for law not recognized. What we call luck or coincidence is simply a cause we haven't identified yet. If we knew the full chain of events, we would see that the result was inevitable. Finally, there are many planes of causation. This means cause and effect works not just in the physical world, but in the mental and spiritual realms as well. A thought can be a cause, an emotion can be a cause, a belief can be a cause. See, emotions influence behavior, and behavior produces results. If you think confidently, you act boldly. If you think fearfully, you hesitate. The mental plane is where most self-development work begins. The spiritual plane. On the spiritual level, Hermeticism teaches that the mind is primary. Your inner state influences what opportunities appear to you, what people you attract, and how the outer world responds. This is the level where prayer, meditation, and visualization operate. Breaking the myth of chance. One of the most important points in the Hermetic view is that chance does not exist in the way we think it does. When something random happens, like meeting a person who changes your life or losing a job unexpectedly, the Hermeticist asks, what were the causes? What beliefs, actions, and events made this moment possible? Often you'll find that so-called luck was the end of a long chain of causes, many of which you set in motion yourself. Why master cause and effect? If you don't master cause and effect, you live as an effect, reacting to conditions you didn't choose. If you do master it, you become a cause, deliberately initiating actions, thoughts, and states of being that lead to the results you want. Real-world applications in wealth. Every financial result is tied to a cause. Your skills, your knowledge, your network, your discipline, your spending habits, and your ability to create value for others. If you want a higher income, you identify and create the causes that lead to higher value creation. In health, your physical condition is the effect of diet, exercise, sleep, stress levels, and environmental factors. You cannot get lasting health without addressing these causes. In relationships, the quality of your relationships is caused by your communication style, your emotional state, your boundaries, and your willingness to invest time and care. In creativity, creative breakthroughs are caused by consistent practice, exposure to new ideas, and the willingness to experiment. Waiting for inspiration without creating the conditions for it is leaving your art to chance, and Hermeticism says chance doesn't exist. How to apply it deliberately. 1. Define the effect you want. Be specific. If you want more income, define the exact amount. If you want better health, define what that means in measurable terms. 2. Trace back to the necessary causes. Ask, what would need to happen for this to be inevitable? Reverse engineer the result until you identify the habits, knowledge, and actions that would cause it. 3. Act on the highest leverage causes. Not all causes are equal. Some actions produce small effects, while others create large compounding ones. Focus on the highest leverage actions. Fourth, measure the effects and adjust track what happens. If the effect isn't appearing, look for missing causes or hidden countercauses that are blocking progress. The mastery exercise. Here's a practical exercise to master the hermetic principle of cause and effect. Step 1. Choose one area of life. Pick wealth, health, relationships, or creativity. Step 2. Write down the current effect. Be completely honest about where you are. If it's income, write the exact amount. If it's health, record your real metrics. Step 3. Identify 3 causes. Write the 3 biggest causes that are creating your current result. Example, for health, poor diet, lack of exercise, high stress. Step 4. Replace with 3 new causes. Write the 3 causes that would lead to your ideal result. Example, balanced nutrition, 30 minutes daily exercise, meditation. Step 5. Commit for 30 days. For 1 month, focus entirely on planting the new causes. Don't worry about the effect. Your only job is to create the cause. Step 6. Review and adjust. At the end of 30 days, measure the effect again. Refine your causes and repeat. The hermetic principle of cause and effect is not just an abstract idea. It is the structure behind every result you see. You can ignore it and live at the mercy of causes you didn't set in motion, or you can master it and become the source of the effects you desire. The law is simple. The chain is unbreakable. The question is never whether cause leads to effect, but whether the effect you're creating when is worth it. But every cause, every choice, is born from something deeper. 2 forces, eternal, weaving all creation into form, masculine and feminine, will and imagination, seed and soil. In our next journey, we'll step beyond cause, into the hidden law that shapes how creation happens, the law of gender, the force behind manifestation itself. If you're ready to master it, join us in the next chapter of the Zone of the Unseen.